I'm explaining a film from 2023 titled Nowhere. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the content. The story begins showing Nico and Mia, a couple who were preparing to flee their country while hiding in the darkness of the night. They had hired a guy to hide them inside a shipping container and transport it to the island. In exchange, Nico pays him a large sum of money, including all of his savings and his wife's wedding band. There are many other people there who, like him, are eager to flee the nation. Others were alone, some with their partners, others in a flat, and yet others with children. But the reason everyone had to flee in such a hurry becomes evident to us in a flash. When one of them plays news on her laptop and we come to know that the situation is very bad there. Due to immediate water shortage, people have started fighting with each other. There is no such thing as regulation left. This country's administration is harming children, the elderly, and pregnant women. They are being shot in a cage like an animal. Nico was certain that the situation here would never improve following the loss of his daughter. That is why he devised a strategy to flee there. He expected his life to improve as a result of this, but only if his luck held out. In the morning, a sound begins to emanate from outside his container. The door then unexpectedly opens, allowing many more individuals, including him, to enter. Mia even falls due to one push. The load is too much, so many people are forced out of the container, and in the process Nico gets separated from Mia. Mia looks through a hole and watches Nico climb into another container. She calls Nico immediately and Nico consoles her that there is no need to worry. Following that, we see some cops inspecting the crate. A little concealed chamber was built in front of the container to hide individuals in such situations, but it doesn't take long for them to figure out the trick and begin influencing everyone with their words. So that everyone comes out, and as soon as a female opens the chamber door, he shoots all of them at the same time. Mia takes advantage of her good fortune by climbing on top of a wooden box, where no one can see her. They finish their task and leave, throwing all of the deceased body's belongings. Only Mia is left in such a big container. As soon as the door of the container is closed, the first thing she does is send a message to Nico asking him to hide. But there is no response from him. After a while, the container arrives at the port and is loaded into the ship. Along with this container, we can see the container where Nico was, but his phone was broken. Mia discovers someone's bag inside the container, keeps the handle of the phone water bottle, and falls asleep for a while. A sharp shock jolts her out of her slumber. There is a storm brewing in the water, and everything is trembling around her. She peeks through the hole and watches all containers colliding with each other. She screams and asks for help. After some time, the container also falls into the water. Mia's head is smacked and the rope she is balancing on snaps. When she wakes up, there is water all around her and several containers floating about, just like this one outside. Mia becomes frightened and attempts to call Nico, but the screen of her phone is destroyed due to the collision, and she is adrift in space. Finally, she regains control and considers closing the valve. To keep her from coming inside, she begins opening those wooden boxes one by one, hoping to discover something useful. Finally, Mia seals those gaps at one speed and sits for some time. But then she hears the screams of people coming outside, and upon seeing, she comes to know a container is sinking, and it was the same container that Nico was in. Which means he is no more. Mia's brain shuts down as a result of this notion. Mia feels despondent to the point where she considers suicide. She notices that the baby hasn't moved in the last 2 days. She then picks up a knife, but her baby kicks her. She receives a call from Nico as well, so she chooses to fight and stay alive. She spends her days until a storm strikes the region, causing this container to shake and all the contents to spread. The container begins to fill quickly with water. She realizes that her water broke, and in that stormy night at nowhere she gives birth to a child whom she names Noah. Three days passed by looking at him like this. She had eaten all the food she had left. That water was likewise nearing its end, and the volume of water in the container was rising. The child's health began to deteriorate as a result of both excessive heat during the day and cold at night. Mia also begins creating holes in the container's ceiling with a blade for breathable air. After a while, the blade wears down and creates blisters on her hands. She is also starving after not eating for 2 days. As a result, her health deteriorates and she begins to cry, as well as experience various sorts of laughing. When Mia sees Noah, his cries begin to ring in her ears. The next day when rainwater wakes her up, water was dripping due to the hole created in the ceiling. So Mia collects water in some boxes, and from that she gets the idea. Mia is able to cut the ceiling and is able to see the outside world for the first time. After a few days Mia has to change the towel of Noah. So she throws the towel in water, and as soon as she does it, lot of fishes start gathering around the towel. With this Mia will not have to starve to death now, as she is able to catch fishes. Then an aircraft appears in the sky. She attempts to communicate by reflecting light from the television screen. However, there is no advantage this time. She was severely bleeding, and this had to stop. As a result, Mia first sanitizes the area by pouring alcohol on it. She is in agony, but she is willing to give up everything for her kid. 9 days went in this manner. Mia worked hard, but there was no point in removing the water from the container. She tries several eyes to make touch with the outside world, but each effort fails. After 26 days, the water level had risen over the maximum. If this continues, this container will sink within another 2 or 3 days. Then one night Mia gets a call from Nico, and with great difficulty she is able to pick up the call. Nico tells her that he hid in the ship to reach Mia, but he was caught while trying to escape. He got shot and lost a lot of blood and is not going to make it. Mia breaks down, losing all hope. She somehow controls herself and starts working from the next day to save her child. First of all, she makes a boat from plastic boxes so that she and her daughter can survive if the container sinks, along with a pad for Noah. The container is totally filled with water and begins to sink that night. Mia had already removed all of her belongings, but some of her pictures in a chocolate pack remained inside the container. Her foot becomes entangled in some cables while attempting to recover it. She finds it tough to cut with a knife and comes out. Mia escapes from the container, but Noah has vanished somewhere else. Mia begins to cry for her baby, but there is water everywhere. When a whale passed underneath her, she was in a shattered state. By following the sound she is able to find Noah in the sea. Mia does not have the strength left to swim. They have bought the boat they had made, so they are somehow able to keep themselves above the water. She becomes unconscious. After a time of drifting like way, a family on a fishing boat notices Noah on the floating raft. They also discover a rope tied to something. They also discover Mia by pulling on the rope. They carry her on board and conduct CPR on her since she is unconscious. She was successfully revived. Mia regains consciousness after much struggle. It takes her a long time to grasp everything. She begins by inquiring about her daughter. After so many obstacles, she learns that she has arrived to the island. She begins to cry, but these are happy tears. Whatever she endured, whatever she went through in the last 28 days, the same applies to all for not giving up until the last breath. That's all the recap. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to stay updated with recaps of our latest films. Your support would be appreciated. I hope to see you next time.